affordable for a farmer to farm and own the land. And farming, let me tell you, is going to be one of the careers of the future. We're going to make it sexy to be a farmer.
That's easy for you to say, Ian. I'm going to care to comment on that.
Mr. Chairman, I came here tonight hoping to hear a serious, sensible discussion on the Vantreight proposal. I repeat, the Vantreight current proposal. For the first hour, you kept it at that, but I'm getting more than a little bored listening to several members of the top table hypothesizing on how they're going to change world farming. Right now, that is impossible, because farming, our food, relies on big business. Whether you like it or not, that is the fact. Maybe the proposals that have been suggested might come in the future, but not now. Furthermore, this is irrelevant to the Vantreight proposal. Mr. Chairman, could you please keep any discussions or comments to the Vantreight current proposal? Please.
Starts in our backyard, though. Starts in our backyard everywhere.
The lady in the back, yeah.
I would just like to say to people, if you want to see what this looks like when this happens, just take a walk or car ride up either Verling Avenue or up Oldfield Road and see what council let happen to a beautiful, well, it was an airfield, but it was a hayfield, it was partly urban, and it was partly agricultural. You go up there now and have a look at what happened. It was wiped out, there's parking for nearly 150 vehicles, and there's huge storage and business places up there. You just, anyone who is worried about this happening, go and look. This is your children's future.
And you're number 2, at the back. Yep.
I was keeping this to the Vantreight proposal. I'm suggesting that either Dogwood Initiative or anybody here, that we do move forward on a committee of the whole, that we actually ask our councillors, because my experience is that there are 3 councillors that were named that do not have the common good at heart. And we can't go in there saying, oh, I'm sure they have the common good, if we only express it. We've expressed it. So I think the next step, I invite all of you, is let's call that committee of the whole. All of us invite 10 neighbors or 100 people if you're popular, and let's do it. Because if we sit here and just get mad, we're just going to see what this lady said. We will not have the land. We'll just be more mad. We have to act. So that's my suggestion.
1, 2, 3.
So I came with my own prop. It's 10 pounds of potatoes from California. When I was at university, Panama Flats in that area grew the equivalent of 10 pounds of potatoes per person for all of Greater Victoria. What does Panama Flats grow now, since it's no longer owned by the Vantreights? Upkiss. The 150 acres of the Vantreights no longer own now grows nothing. The kiwi orchards are being destroyed down on Martindale Road. The land's sitting empty. It's not being used. It's not being farmed. The farmland is all going to be turned into houses for lawyers that have a lot of money. And once any one of those properties ends up in the hands of the lawyer with a 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 square foot house, it's never going to be farmed again, unless maybe somebody likes a few horses and wants a bit of hay, or they want to have enough hay on their land that they will get farm tax status, and they then get to have their 20,000 square foot house and not pay the same property taxes as somebody living in a condominium. Right. 150 acres we have lost in the last 4 years to production of food in this area. These potatoes alone, that's 100 tons of potatoes we used to get off those lands that we now get trucked in from California. Is that what people want? You lose a farm like the Vantreight farm. You lose one of the last major remaining farms in this region. We're going to lose hundreds of tons of food produced there every year. 500, 600, I don't know how much they produce, but it's somewhere in that scale. They produce what? How many crops there of food? 70 different crops of food? You know, they produce, what, 40 acres of grain every year? You know, do you want that all to be gone? Is it important that that is lost to us?
Why was
Do we
it
want
sold?
it brought in from California?
Why was it sold?
Because he couldn't borrow enough money from a bank to buy all of it.
Okay, gentleman at the back. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I didn't come here to make a speech, but I think everybody in the room could agree that this whole island is environmentally sensitive. But I think to get back to this gentleman up front here that last spoke, we need to get back to the Vantreight farm. And I think we're talking, I hear a lot of good ideas in the room, but I hear some not so good ideas. I think the hill is not farmable. So you want to save a farm, let the hill be developed. If we can't develop the hill, or have it developed, maybe you're not going to build another house or apartment in the whole island. I don't know. We've got to be realistic. I think good people can work together, get the job done. We're talking one little farm, it's a very important farm. We're talking one little knot of rock up in the hill, which is about as farmable as Bear Mountain. So I think it's important to deal with that.
Okay, lady in the middle.
I am concerned about what's going on. I second Helen's motion that a bunch of people write letters to get a committee of the whole. But I have a question as well. Like, I am concerned about conflict. I would like to say in my letter one of the reasons that I would like to have a committee of the whole is that I don't understand how it's not a conflict if Ian donates nearly $10,000 to specific campaigns of people who are now voting for the development. I don't understand.
So the conflict of interest cases in local government law and municipal law, the courts have a high interest in maintaining the flow of democracy, so allowing people to support other people in elections, and in particular in small communities, you're often going to run into conflict. So the kinds of decisions, in particular, I'm thinking of King and Nanaimo, is that a high percentage of donation to an individual, it might even be up to 80 or 90% of everything that they collected, is not a conflict of interest. So financially, there's a very little correlation between campaign donations and conflict of interest. If you're really interested in this issue, you should talk to your neighbors in North Saanich the community brought forward the North Saanich and Bird case. And, I think that is one of the most recent statements that we have on the new law in British Columbia about conflict of interest. And it was somewhat gray in the sense of there had been past dealings, but there weren't necessarily current dealings. So I think it's a good decision in this context. And then you can also talk to the community about how they initiated that after the fact, because I think everyone did their due diligence in that instance. Every single party had received legal opinion about whether there was a conflict, and then at the end of the day, what the court found that there was a conflict, but it took the community to bring it forward and to challenge that. So that's what I would encourage you to do.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Vantreight.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to come tonight to listen to what was being said and make sure that there was accurate information being put forward. And so I've made some notes here about things that I would like to correct. Number one, the last speaker who asked if about $10,000 to the candidates, I did not contribute $10,000 to candidates. I gave 5 candidates $500. The remainder of what was in my declaration was spent on urging people to get out, urging people to come to and vote. It was not contributed to any one. It was $500 for 5 candidates, and by the way, only 2 of them got in. As far as just going down my list, and this is in no order, there's 57 lots going on 32 acres. That's 0.56 units per acre. To preserve farmland without farmers is, in my mind, a half-empty